I went to Diddy's party, and there he was, sacrificing everyone like animals. When I tried to tell the police about it, Diddy gave me poison.
Diddy will go to prison for life, people. You don't know things that I knew about Diddy back in the day.
Did you get fired for making fun of Puffy?
Yeah, by Hot 97. I had to fight a lawsuit. You know what it all came down to? They were
That's what
rappers and expose it.
Wendy Williams made a terrifying announcement during her spectacular comeback to the Hollywood limelight. Diddy will be imprisoned for life. After over 10 years of quiet, is Sean Diddy Combs, the so-called silencing mogul, finally making an appearance in federal court? Wendy Williams' statement brought a number of previously untouchable power players into the controversy, in addition to targeting the alleged mastermind. As Williams starts to uncover what she refers to as Hollywood's unhealed wounds, names that have long occupied the highest echelons of the entertainment business are suddenly under the harsh scrutiny of justice.
He was arrested for assault with a deadly weapon and making terroristic threats.
Wendy is equipped with enough papers, testimony, and long-buried proof to tear down the walls of falsehoods piece by piece when she appears in court. These are no longer just unfounded rumors. What then motivated this once shushed lady to come out and make accusations? Is Wendy herself an essential component of a bigger scheme to unseat Diddy and change the power dynamics in Hollywood? Or is there an invisible force supporting her and helping her regain her fame? Diddy was the reason you were fired from Hot 97 years ago, Wendy. When Wendy Williams entered the New York federal courthouse on a tense May day during Sean Diddy Combs' trial, the audience fell into a breathless hush. The bright light of her earlier days was gone. She remained determined and unfazed, yet her face showed the heaviness of a soul that had been burdened for a long time. Maybe because Wendy Williams had suffered too much. After almost 10 years of quiet, she was resolved to expose Sean Diddy Combs, the guy she dubbed the dark mogul of the music industry, when she appeared in this courtroom. Wendy Williams spoke in a quiet, determined voice under the sharp eyes of those in attendance.
ISEF stayed silent for too long. ISEF endured late-night threatening calls, advertising contracts yanked without explanation, and warnings as sharp as a blade against my throat, all because I dared to speak Diddy Sep's name. But today, I have nothing left to lose.
The name Diddy has long been synonymous with power. A billionaire media mogul and top-tier music producer who shaped the careers of countless A-list artists. But behind that glittering facade, according to Wendy Williams' testimony, lies an organized system of abuse and an underworld where any voice daring to challenge it is ruthlessly silenced. Wendy recalled her early days breaking into radio when she was repeatedly warned for exposing the horrific truths behind the lavish parties Diddy hosted. These parties were described with haunting imagery, ivy drips hanging overhead, flickering red candles casting shadows in the dark, young women escorted into private rooms, all required to sign non-disclosure agreements before stepping foot inside. I spoke about those things on air, and within a week I lost a major advertising deal. It stunned me. A clear, brutal first strike of retaliation, she said. Through her testimony, a chilling picture emerges of psychological pressure, silent terror campaigns, and gradual isolation. Beyond the fear of having her career stripped away, Wendy also faced threatening calls and even attacks from a girl group, once backed by Diddy, whom she believes were directed to intimidate her.
Music mogul who sent his all-girl group to beat my in front of the radio station.
There was a radio personality once upon a time. Her name was Wendy Williams, and she was practically burned at the stake for talking about such.
Because what followed wasn't just a scandal.
I think she's losing memory. Have you guys noticed that?
How dare him? I control men.
Anybody could look at her and tell this is not just alcohol. There's something more going on.
Costume contest, we do it every year. It's always a lot of fun. Let's get started. Our first caress.
It was perhaps the years of relentless psychological torment from the mogul that ultimately led to Wendy Williams' severe diagnosis, aphasia, and frontotemporal dementia conditions that turned her life upside down. When I started talking about Diddy, she said, her voice steady, I wasn't trying to tear him down. I just wanted people to wake up. From the early 2000s, I saw it. Diddy was protected, shielded. People warned me not to mention his name because it would scare off sponsors, but I thought it was a joke. Then I lost contracts and got fired from my radio job.
I love that you have, 6 kids, 3 babies' moms.
Yes, all taken care of. I met all of them in the same year, so I've known all of them the same amount of time, but we were friends.
Did you get fired for making fun of Puffy?
Yeah, by Hot 97, I had to fight a lawsuit. You know what it all came down to? They were
Rappers, that's what it was.
gangsters and exposing.
30 days, I went out twice for my teeth, you know what I'm saying? And I want my life back.
As Wendy began recounting the threatening calls, a heavy silence fell over the courtroom. All eyes turned to Diddy. Before she could finish, Sean Combs' lawyer shot up, voice sharp as ice. Objection. There's no concrete evidence those calls came from Mr. Combs. Who were they? What did they say? Does she have recordings? On the defendant's bench, Diddy's hands tightened on his lap. He kept his head down, but his eyes darted, betraying unease. This was no stage, no music or spotlights to hide behind, only the law and cold accusations. His face, so familiar in the media with its confident smile, now seemed a cracking mask. Wendy nodded calmly, then signaled. A muffled recording played, its low, menacing voice echoing through the courtroom.
You know what? Sense is waiting for you if you keep running your mouth.
A murmur rippled through the courtroom, but was swiftly silenced by the judge's gavel. At that moment, Wendy held up yellowed pages worn by time, each marked with specific dates written in slanted handwriting, every line a memory. An anonymous call, a contract inexplicably vanished. A sudden removal from television at the peak of her career. Diddy's side visibly tensed. His lawyer rose again, this time with sharper hostility. Your Honor, all she's presented are personal notes, no photographic evidence, no direct witnesses, and entirely capable of being fabricated to sway public opinion. Diddy remained silent, but his gaze darkened. Gone was the confidence of a seasoned producer, replaced by a look of doubt. Whether aimed at Wendy or at those once thought to be backing him, no one could tell. Wendy, undeterred, pressed on, recounting the time she was attacked backstage by girl groups trained by Diddy himself. In her testimony, she revealed at least 2 incidents where she was attacked backstage by girl groups trained by Diddy himself. In her testimony, she revealed at least 2 incidents where she was ambushed by female artists after a show, met with venomous words and blatant intimidation. One of them grabbed my arm and said, "You know the rules, Wendy. Don't make yourself a pawn anymore," she recalled, her voice catching. I looked into their eyes. I didn't see hatred. I saw fear. They said those things because someone made them. Diddy's lawyer leapt up again, this time with a mocking tone. This narrative sounds like it belongs in a book. No films, no pictures, and no proof that can be verified. She is fabricating a story to deceive the people. However, the prosecution quickly retorted that Wendy's evidence was just one part of a bigger picture, and that other as yet unnamed witnesses were starting to come forward. Now, protected by the law, voices that had been stifled were emerging. Wendy was one of the few who dared to speak up in the glittering but perilous world of entertainment, but she wasn't the only one who saw the unseen hand tugging the strings. She became a thorn in the side of a strong machine because of her stubbornness. Her job, sanity, and safety were all on the line, and each time she spoke Diddy on television, she got closer to the brink. Wendy then said, "I'm no longer afraid they'll silence me in the hushed courtroom." The fact that they have been doing it for 10 years is the scariest thing. Wendy's statement forced her to appear in court, focusing not just on